Hopefully I'm on time. Hopefully you guys could hear me. We are doing this tech field day thingy. I just needed to make sure my speaker monitors were working. So you guys are going to have to let me know in chat once this starts launching. Hold on a sec. Let me bring up the chat actually. Pop out. So this is going to be starting in 15 minutes or so. And so how this works, if you guys have never seen tech field days, we have done them for the last 2 years now. So this is going to be our third one. It started. I wasn't late. It's 3:45 right now, so we're all good. If you haven't seen the tech field days, what they're going to be, it's going to be UI Tom and UI Craig. There may be somebody else. I'm not too sure if there's more people than that, but they're just going to talk about new technologies, things about Ubiquiti. And during those parts, I'm probably not going to be talking. I'm just going to be listening. So we're just going to watch it together. This is the link to the Tech Field Day YouTube channel. So I suggest to go follow it because they don't just do Ubiquiti. They do a bunch of different people. I'll also put their link to the website. I should probably close this. Okay, hold on a sec. Let me put this on full screen for a second, so you guys can't see some of my chat windows opening up here. All right, there we go. How's it going, people? So we'll get started on this. Let's take a look at some of these people. Does there have a start time? It will start in 40 minutes. Jesse's here from Tech Geeks. Go follow him if you're not already. I can't wait to hear about Enterprise UPS. Cody has it in the background. I wish I did. Hopefully I don't have anything in the back. It's been a tiring day today. I've been working out more, so like my shoulders, I barely can move them right now. Great Computer Services, how's it going? Darcy, how's it going? Cyberdog, Gotwire, how's it going? Colin, I'm probably gonna miss some people here. Jake Kino, Black Jedi, how's it going? So this is gonna be a kind of interesting thing. I'm hoping that we see some new stuff. Before the show starts, though, let's go ahead and we'll look at Ubiquiti came out with a couple new things, which I am getting. Speakers. Speakers. So I've been waiting to do my power amp video for these speakers. I've known about the speakers for a little while now. I do have 2 power amps that Ubiquiti sent me. They are sending me 4 in-ceiling speakers, and I'm going to put them in my basement. I wonder if it doesn't come with a bracket, though. My basement is open frame, so like right now we have nothing. We have no drywall or anything, so I'm gonna have to just buy a bracket for it. It will make for a pretty interesting video, I'm sure of it. Oh, that's them. Are they live? Okay, so hold on. Is there music on this? I can't hear it if there is. Please stand by while we begin our live stream. So they're supposed to be starting in 12 minutes. Hopefully my speaker monitors just picked them up. You guys will be able to hear it anyway, but I might have to unplug my speakers and plug them back in. But like I said, I probably won't be talking during the conference unless there's a little small window. We could talk about it afterwards after they do the live stream. It's supposed to be about an hour or an hour and a half. So get your coffee, get your pop, get your water, get whatever you want to drink, and yeah, it's going to be interesting. Yeah, UniFi Talk 5.2. I need to get some more phones. I only have 1 phone. I want to do a full UniFi Talk video. What is this? Full UniFi Talk video, but I just don't have enough phones. So I'm hoping, that I could get some more to do a video on. Oh, nice. You're doing the wall ones. Actually, that wouldn't have been a... Shoot. I didn't even think of that. I should have done the wall ones in this office. Maybe I'll get a pair of wall ones for this office, actually. That is a good idea. I didn't even think about that because I could cable it through my house. That would be awesome, actually. What's going on? There is a tech field day thing, so I'm not too sure what to expect, but it's going to be cool. Watching the stream on the car. Nice. Tech, how's it going? Half, how's it going? And Cowman. Who is Cowman? Oh, Cyberdog. BJ, how's it going? Not too late to ship me the ceiling in ones. Now, I'm going to use both of them. So I'll have 4 of them downstairs in my basement, and then I'll have, I'll use the in-wall ones or whatever here. Holy crap, my phone keeps going off. And I most likely will mute myself so you guys don't hear double audio. You shouldn't hear double audio anyway because this mic is pretty good, but all I want is UniFi Talk is the ability to throw a Home Assistant dashboard button on the interface, throw one. Yeah, that would be kind of cool, to be honest with you. Hyper, thank you very much. I appreciate it. And if you guys haven't hit the like button, we got 95 people here and we got 108 people here and we only got 8 likes. Yeah, so that's what I think I put that on my Twitter post, or maybe I put it directly on the YouTube video, like on the video that they had. I think they need to have the appliance, like an actual appliance, because you can't really do over 100 phones right now. It's kind of crazy that we have done this for 3 years in a row now, which is kind of nuts. I guess I should post this on my Facebook page. But yeah, these speakers look kind of cool. I'm not sure about the pricing, if that's good price or if it's not good price, because we don't do a lot of audio stuff. And I know there's going to be a lot of people who say, oh, you're a shill doing a video on audio and you know, you're not an audio guy, but I'm just going to show you how easy it is to set up because it shouldn't be too difficult. They are also sending me a box of this audio cable. It's only 150 meters though. Wow. Wait, how much is hold on, meters? So that's 500 feet for $500. Is that normal? Is this even plenum? Yeah, it is flame rating. Okay, so it would be plenum, I guess. Interesting. Okay, I'm gonna post this link in here. Everybody go like their live stream as well. They do a really good job, and I get permission from them every year to do it. So go like their live stream. Say something in the chat if you guys want. That is the link to their YouTube channel. They do great work. You'll probably see some known faces in the Wi-Fi community. I think his name is Keith. Is it Keith Parsons? He's a pretty big player in the Wi-Fi space. I met him last year actually at UWC. This is the Tech Field Day Twitter if you guys are on that app. And there's Mocha. Hey, baby. How you doing? She's really wanting to go outside. Tim, thank you very much. Appreciate it. Yeah, soft phones in Europe would be great. Who is calling me from Barrie, Ontario? Is the audio cable silver or silver plated or copper? It would be copper, I would assume. Right? They would have to make it copper. Like you're not going to do copper clad aluminum. That's super unsafe. Is calling me right now. It's probably weird seeing me on a live stream on a Thursday as well. I'll probably still do a live stream Saturday. Or sorry, on Sunday. That's you. Well, it's somebody. They haven't. Let's see if they're leaving a voicemail. Let's see. Oh my gosh. You know who it is? It's your mayor in Barrie. Hey, I don't even live in Barrie anymore. Why are they calling me? Seeing me on a live stream period. I try to do live streams every week. I do miss a couple of them. You know, I'm trying to be more reliable with the live streams. We're getting there. I do have a bunch of videos in the work as well. Let's see. Audio file like silver cables. Oh, interesting. Okay, so that is the extent of audio that I know. I'm going to learn more about it though. I can't listen though, so only chat to get in the room. Awesome. Okay. Lego Stream 1. Is this Steve? Is this Steve? I feel like this is you, Steve. I'm pretty sure. I don't know. They changed the name, so it's hard to tell. Very hard to tell. So this should be kind of like if you've let's see, Ubiquiti World Conference, events.ui.com. If you've never been to a Ubiquiti World Conference, this will probably be similar to it. In fashion. So, oh, look at that. They got a couple masterclass things, and then Ubiquiti in Taiwan. My white balance is really off, but it's okay. Well, how can I test my audio? What is going on with this phone? I'm turning it off. It is Steve Cott. I knew it just by the way you were talking. I'm like, that is you. Hey, folks, I'm one of the delegates in the room at Mobile Field Day. Feel free to ask me any questions. Awesome. Great to see you. What is your name? I don't know if... Oh, is this... Oh, my God. I know who you are, I think. See, they changed the names. We've talked before. We talk every year, probably. I would assume on this. We got a Hey Eddie in here. I hate how YouTube changed the names of people. I really do. Hello from Monty's Tea Room. We were gonna do like a co-stream where it was I don't know who was all gonna join. I know Jesse would have joined. It would have been Jesse, maybe Clay, and then Monty. One, it's late for Monty, and two, it would have been a little weird with all four of us just sitting there being quiet because we want to listen to the presentation. Yeah, I know you're rich. I know a lot of the people, but Kyle, I'm not too sure what they're going to be releasing. They may not even release anything. Like, I have no idea. At the very first Tech Field Day, I think they announced the EFG. I'm pretty sure. Mark, how's it going? Yeah, I recognize your face, actually. So, okay, so I'm also with Reed. Yeah, what? He has a channel. What is his channel? Oh my gosh. We've DM'd before. I forget. And he's working for another company now. Anyway. How many people we got in here? 119. Hopefully that bumps up. The first year we had, it was like 500 and something people, which is kind of crazy. You'll be plenty vocal in chat, yeah. I mean, I may mention something here and there. I just need... How can I test my audio? Sound buttons? Let's go to sound buttons. I want to do something that's not going to get me... oh, gosh. I don't even know what sound to play, though. Oh, gosh. I probably shouldn't do that. You guys will be able to hear it. It's just going to be me. I need to get some new monitors. U7 Pro Max. The U7 Pro Max is good. I would assume that they're going to be talking about Wi-Fi for sure. Tom's there, so obviously they'll be talking about Wi-Fi. You're about to get banned. No, I'm just messing with you. I don't know what to play. You know what? Let's bore everybody with one of my videos. That is actually a good idea. And I could hear if my monitors are going off. Because when there's no sound going through, they just kind of go idle. I'll turn it down for a bit because this might be really loud for you guys. Give me a second. I don't even want to listen to
everyone,
myself.
Cody from
Mac Telecom. Okay, we're good. Sorry about that. We're good. I'll end up turning it up. I have the audio low, but okay, so you guys are about to go. Okay, perfect. Sweet. What time is it? Yeah, we got 2 minutes. Awesome. So let's turn that down. Take that off. Get out of Facebook. Get out of there. Back up at it. Oh, here we go. We're live. So I am going to mute myself.
Welcome back. We are continuing our second day of Mobility Field Day presentations. And we have, honestly, one of the fan favorites of our companies that is coming up soon, Ubiquiti. They are a darling of the industry. I know that because in addition to this video being streamed on our YouTube channel, on LinkedIn, live, on TechStrong TV, and on TechFieldDay.com, we are also being broadcasted through Cody Mac Telecom's channel. So there are a lot of people who have tuned in to watch us there. Cody, you are awesome. Thank you for continuing to be such a strong supporter of this community. And for all of you that are watching out there, just drop a U in the chat for Ubiquiti because we want to see that you guys are enjoying this. We have a great
go into their chat
and do it. Joining us around the table. You can go to techfieldday.com and see who they are, learn all about them, see anything that they've created and all the stuff that they do, because we're about to spend 90 minutes getting a great overview of some of the technology that Ubiquiti has been working on. Apparently there's an announcement. It's been teased, and I can't wait to see what they have in store. Yeah, Mark's over here like, guess what, guess what? But we would also love to hear what you have to say. So if you want to leave a comment on the YouTube channel, please feel free to do so. If you want to head over to social media, whatever platform you choose to use, just use the hashtag MFD14. We love hearing your comments. We love seeing your feedback. This is one of the most vibrant communities that I have ever seen, and I've been doing this for quite a while. So we want to continue to have all of you be a part of this. And honestly, all of the folks that are watching this over on Cody's channel, and Cody, even you too, head over to techfieldday.com, and there's that drop down that says Become a Tech Field Day Delegate. I want some of you to put your name in the hat, because I promise you,
I'll actually do that.
You might find yourself here before you know it.
That would
Craig,
actually be kind of fun.
are you ready to go with you and your team?
Yeah.
Come on up.
All right. Oh, it's Craig's in there. Craig's a great guy. They're all great people.
Thank you, Tom, for the introduction, Futurum Group for hosting this, and delegates for joining us here today. Like always, I like to start with more of a high-level business strategy overview and use that to segue into what the three of us are going to talk about here today. First, we got to fix our tech issue. That's a good question. Pause, I guess. It's still sharing? Oh, it's not on here.
Tech issues on Tech Field Day. It always happens, though. You know, it always happens. Is the audio good for you guys? Oh, it's all good. I mean, like, technical stuff happens all the time.
Cool. So for those of you who joined us 2 years ago, that was our first Mobility Field Day, and we really used that to announce our Enterprise Fortress Gateway and more broadly our, call it, intention of expanding upstream to more of the enterprise environments. Last year, we kept that ball rolling. We talked and announced our full enterprise portfolio. We really focused this in on high availability and talked about how it's eliminating single points of failure, which was that intention. We talked about things like your VRRP at the firewall, MC lag at the switches, and dual uplink ports on your APs, so you have both power and data redundancy. We went on to elaborate on some of the software initiatives and, importantly, some of the investments that we were making in phone support, both for partners and for large end users. So at the end of the day, they have someone to call when something goes wrong. So at this point, UniFi for Enterprise is no longer really a new initiative. We've had a lot of success, I'd say, getting UniFi installed into some of these larger and more advanced environments. And that goes across the full UniFi stack. So this isn't just your networking, your Wi-Fi, but things like your access control, your cameras, even your network-attached storage. And as we've gotten into this space and start working with some of these larger customers, both end users and partners, we've started to really learn a lot. We've seen what works, we've seen what maybe doesn't work so well, and ultimately that set the foundation for us to understand better where we want to go forward, how we keep the momentum rolling, and how we ultimately keep growing. So we are here today, and for us, 2026 is about one thing, and that's going to be the theme throughout our talks today, and that's going to be UniFi at scale. And when I say scale, I'm not talking about big numbers or it goes fast. It's really about how we can build UniFi in a way that can accommodate real-world scale and solve the problems that come with it, right? Things like management across thousands of sites or globally disparate teams. How can you trust UniFi across these different environments? And ultimately, how can we adhere to some more maybe nuanced requirements or custom workflows that are mandated by these larger customers? So I'm going to kick this off, and I'm going to talk about how we're bringing and making UniFi operational at scale. And this is largely going to focus on some of the software management experience, and then we're going to get into some of our most recent investments into support, both for end users and partner in our partner program. So before we jump in, I want to take a step back and just remind everybody about Site Manager. This lives at unifi.ui.com, and this is where you can go to view and manage all sites you either own or have been granted admin permissions to. Now, this runs with a hybrid cloud architecture, and this is what really, I think, contributed to a lot of our historic success, in addition to some of our software innovations generally. So what I mean by this hybrid cloud is you can have a lot of disparate local control planes. So put a cloud gateway, cloud key, or even self-host your own control planes. And they're all going to check into our lightweight cloud using MQTT. So this ultimately gives you the best of both worlds. You get the centralization and remote management benefits of the cloud, but you still retain things like your on-prem data privacy, security, and importantly, your license-free model of on-prem hosting. The historic problem with this is that even though we have centralization for viewing and getting into each of those sites, what we lacked is the ability to orchestrate policies. You have to go into each and every site independently if you want to actually make configuration changes, and that's something that I think is really big for us as we move more upstream. So we're solving that with something called the UniFi Fabrics. This has already been released just a couple weeks ago into official, and this is built into Site Manager natively. So whereas Site Manager's there to see all of the sites, this is going to live right there on top of it and allow you to actually make that policy orchestration across multiple sites. And that's where the name actually comes from, right? We think of this as a single management fabric. All you have to do, select the sites you want to be part of a fabric, and you're good to go. And where you can start to really see the benefits of that is going to be in your people management to start. Again, instead of worrying about every identity site by site, things like your secure Wi-Fi, your VPN, even your admin permissions, we introduced something called consolidated people management. So this gives you one screen, just like it says, so you can see all of the people and you can assign them to each of their corresponding sites and with their corresponding permissions. Under the hood, how we make this work is really cool because it follows that same hybrid cloud architecture. When you delegate those sites that are going to be in a fabric, we actually pick one of them and we run this identity sync service on it. There's a lot of parameters that go into what we're doing, but you can think of it as the higher end products are going to be more likely to be chosen for that for obvious reasons. And this is going to run all those identities. You can integrate it with an identity provider like Microsoft Entra, Google Workspace, even your LDAP and on-prem Active Directory. We've got things like Okta and just more broadly third-party IDP integration top of mind. But we're going to sync all of the users real-time with SCIM, and then that identity sync service is going to orchestrate them exactly where they need to be. The cool thing, like you can see on the bottom, is that when you integrate the IDP, we're going to pull that same group metadata that lives in the IDP, and now you can start to scalably assign this to roles and permissions. So now, rather than historically where we offered a lot more of a broad admin or view-only permissions, we're adding a lot more granularity to the role-based access control. Things like being able to make it so your level 1 help staff can maybe see basic analytics information and reboot a device or even to bounce a port, but no real configurations. Or your Wi-Fi engineers, they need to manage all your SSID settings, but they don't need to be touching anything related to core routing or security. Ultimately, we're thinking about these things, and it's all possible here without over or under permissioning, which is really nice because it can align with their day-to-day responsibilities. That brings us to authentication now. Today, currently, we offer SAML-based authentication for end users who use the UniFi Endpoint app. We are very soon bringing admin SAML and OIDC support as well. But it's worth noting that even in the meantime, you can still permission those admins based on the identity provider. So really the only limitation now is that you need to sign in with a UI account, but all of the real provisioning and access control is still governed by that identity provider. But like I said, we are going to bring that full support for SAML and OIDC, so you won't need that UI account at all. But talking about UniFi Endpoint, this is really a big initiative for us because it's kind of a game changer. Obviously, your user signs into it, uses the SAML SSO, but once they're in, they can centrally see any permissions related to that IT infrastructure that they've been granted. So that's going to be your secure Wi-Fi. You can have VPN access to certain resources, even touch-based door unlock between certain hours, all sorts of things like that, which is really unique. And ultimately what we found is that this is beneficial for the IT admins, because now that we're focusing on the UX and experience of those end users, we're seeing a lot less support calls, support overhead more broadly. And for the partners and IT teams managing the system, they're ultimately seeing higher customer satisfaction and retention. Now, we talked about this just in the scope of one singular fabric, but this is built around multi-tenancy generally. Currently today, we do allow users and accounts to be a member of and to manage multiple fabrics, but we do have some improvements that we're going to make specifically for MSPs and maybe parent organizations supporting multiple companies. And that's going to be related to, letting their singular IDP govern their own team's permissions across those clients or sub-sites, and then at the same time integrating a separate IDP per fabric to provide that access to each individual customer within the scope of their fabric. So moving on from just people management, we've got a lot around the actual policy orchestration. And we start with something that we call our canvas. And this is really about very quick and simple and flexible policy management. So what this means is maybe you have a bunch of different sites that are already active, but you need to quickly add a guest SSID with a custom branded hotspot portal. The canvas is going to let you make that policy once and place it on all of those sites. From there, we build on it and we have device blueprinting. Blueprinting is going to let you define the full site-wide policy. So that'll be all of your VLANs, the SSIDs, the firewall rules and zones, even the security policies that go with it. And that'll let you tie multiple sites into that single point of truth so that you can continue to manage them centrally over time.
So the canvas is a kind of singular update to multiple objects, and then the blueprint is, here's the template that they're all using?
Exactly.
Okay.
So one of the design challenges was, we knew that we needed to combine both one-time provisioning and linking stuff together, but we didn't want to get into making nested templates and a lot of confusion. So we wanted to set ourselves up in a way that it's like a very clean user experience, but still enables us to have the foundation where as we get more feedback and we see what use cases are popular, we can kind of fragment them in. So yeah, right now the canvas is just quick and easy. You can still have that linked to the policy across each, but the blueprints are designed as, I have this exact template, I have small store template or medium, large store, that sort of thing. And then that moves down to our device templates, which takes that same concept and puts it at the hardware level. Based on your region, maybe you want to use specific channel planning, prioritizing certain channels. You want to tune your radios in a certain way, power levels. That's all going to be possible there, in addition to switch port configurations. We're in the process of building a drift monitor for that too. As you're adding exclusions, there's a lot of messiness that can come. So our goal is really about making it obvious what is and is not within the compliance with your policy so that you can adjust the changes as needed. But the exciting part about all of those is that it ultimately culminates into our zero-touch provisioning. We've got two, call it flavors of ZTP. We thought about a lot of different flexible workflows, but I'd say, the primary one is going to be your full site ZTP. It's going to use the blueprints, it's going to use your device templates, and ultimately allow an admin or one of your installers you send on site to use the mobile app and actually pull out a full design center documentation of it. So you're going to see where everything's wired, how it all connects, right? Again, more tuned around some more of these advanced deployments. And then once you're ready, you can provision that singular cloud gateway or whatever that control plane is one time, and then all the other devices connected are going to adopt and they're going to be provisioned with their necessary thing. And the cool thing about this is because we get to use the mobile app over Bluetooth, you don't actually need any firmware revisions to go and seek things from a ZTP server. And if you're running the UniFi Cloud Gateway, that's of course, the gateway, so it becomes very easy to pull things automatically. Or if you still want more security, you can still do it, Mac-based and some other things that we're working on there. Second flavor is going to be your traditional ZTP codes. Maybe you have a site up and running and you just need to quickly onboard a new device. You can punch in the ZTP code. It's on most of our newer devices, and we're continuing to roll them in. But it'll zip in. Once it has internet activity, it'll connect, it'll see what it needs to go to, and you're good to go from there. And then I guess this is a good segue into more of our partner initiative. Obviously ZTP is great, but if you need somebody on site to help that knows UniFi, we just recently released our partner directory, and this is really designed around making it super easy to find UniFi solution providers, filtering based on your location, the type of projects that you're working on, and even the size of those deployments and the services that you need. We've heard a lot of success from this. A lot of partners have liked it. They're getting a lot of leads. I think the demand has been there from the customers, so I'm glad we were able to pull this together. And that also ties in maybe to our broader, yes?
So quick question. Number one, is there still a fee to become a partner?
No.
Number two, what is a certified partner? What does that mean?
So that's a good transition. So we actually, just a couple weeks ago, we released our partner portal. And so the idea is simple. If you are providing any sort of value add or just UniFi services, you can get access to this partner portal. It's located at partner.ui.com. You sign in and you're good to go. Certified partners are going to be your tier above that. We're working on the exact qualifications. The people published have been ones that we've all personally worked with and can vouch for. But coming up very soon on the partner portal, this is where we're going to have that full certification process. And the intention is not to make it some crazy, complicated, grid of requirements. The idea is really just if you are using UniFi and you are putting a care factor into your work, you have your best practices, then we want to make it easy to connect you with our customers. So that full process is going to be integrated into the partner portal in the next couple of weeks. But even before that, we have sales collateral, and importantly, we have the path for how you can get support. And that goes for both pre-sales and post-sales. Pre-sales, we've been investing a lot in hiring new solution architects globally, and that's one of the biggest investments that we're going to continue this year. And so they'll be able to help you for large projects and generally just making sure that it's successful, key clients, stuff like that. We also have a general phone support for post-sales. If you need anything across any of the sites you manage, you call up, you're good to go there. We've looked, and the response time is pretty zippy. We have somebody that picks up and will qualify to see if it's a critical issue and respond accordingly. But it's going to be under 20 minutes. Like I said, much faster for those quick ones. So as we progress this year, we're actually going to release published SLAs, and again, we're hiring the human element for both pre and post sales. So I think you're going to see a lot better responsiveness there. Another important thing that a lot of people have talked about is partner pricing. So we have that. It's announced. We have two different tiers of pricing. We have our standard reseller pricing, which is going to be available through any of our authorized distributors. They're listed in that portal. And then importantly, we have our more enhanced enterprise partner pricing. Now, as we have this whole initiative around these higher end products, we understand that there's a lot that goes into building out those deployments, making sure they're successful, and just keeping it up and meeting all those expectations. So we want to make sure that the reward is there and you're good to go.
So and forgive me if it's been a while since I've needed to look for stuff, but do you now offer, are you planning, since you're going into this mode, like actual documentation, not just like chat rooms that you go in or knowledge, where people are asking questions and somebody posts and which is nice, yes. But there's no actual documentation. There's a lot of poking around to figure out, where's the Radius server? Where do I do this? Where do I put certificates? All that kind of stuff.
Yep.
And basically you're stuck either
watch my
hopefully
YouTube
finding it on
videos.
a chat room or maybe somebody did a YouTube video on it.
Yeah,
You know?
yeah.
And so it'd be nice to
There you go.
have some regular, like a wiki or something that's just there that we can refer to.
I'm thinking if I can say this, but let me tell you that that's covered. One way that we've started to cover it already is that we are updating all of our Help Center articles, and they're already linked in with our UniFi GPT. So that's something that you can get directly on this partner portal, as well as our help website. So if you type anything in, you can go and it's going to say, hey, here's the relevant articles and here's the step. But forward looking, we're actually working on a really cool wiki strategy that will be version controlled and integrated into the interface itself. Ultimately, we want to avoid some of the clunkiness of searching for the documentation, and then it goes out of date, and maybe the documentation was updated, but you're running an older version because it's reliable, you don't want to upgrade. So this is going to solve, I think, a lot of those problems, and it's going to make it so that what you're looking for, it aligns perfectly with the user interface with all those relevant documents. So definitely top of mind.
Okay.
And the last thing I wanted to mention with regards to the partner program is that some of those distributors that are providing that partner pricing, they also have access now to some more of our services that we've been adding. We have our phone support designed for end users. Maybe you're just installing a deployment and you want to sell the phone support there, you can do it. We have Cyber Secure Enhanced. We work with both Proofpoint and Cloudflare to offer some more advanced intrusion prevention, content filtering, and some real-time updates. So that's something you can resell. And the big one is what we call UI Care, which is 5-year extended hardware protection with next-day replacement. So ultimately, a lot more tools for your arsenal so that you can use them to enhance your existing value-add offerings. So yeah, like I said, the product, the hardware, the software, it's all really evolving and scaling. So we are heavily invested in making sure that our partner ecosystem scales along with it. And with that, we think that all ties into how we're investing
I may be
in
lagging behind a little
operations
bit.
at
We'll
scale.
see.
And with that, I will use Tom.
Woo! Thanks, good, Craig.
Who wants to hear about hardware?
Woo! I think we all
Yeah,
do.
that's what I like to hear. All
There's
right.
Wi-Fi in there.
Oh, there's definitely Wi-Fi in there. Don't worry about it. I got you. So I'm talking about reliable networking at scale. Really, it's how do we build the hardware that applies to all of these different scales? Whether you're doing huge multi-tenant installations, 100 stores, 1,000 stores, or whether you're just doing one large deployment. What are the hardware strategies? What are the products that we have offered? What have we been working on for the past year that will really make that possible? So the first product I want to talk about is one of our newer APs. This is for more smaller scale deployments, but I really just wanted to talk about it because of the RF profile. So we've been making these sort of Coke can style APs, as our community calls them, for about 3 generations now, Wi-Fi 5, 6, and now 7. This AP now has a completely different RF pattern. So it's got a 2x2, 2.4 gigahertz Omni antenna built in. But the 5 gigahertz is where it gets interesting. There's a 1x1 Omni around the AP, but then a 1x1 90-degree directional that's got a 10 dB gain. The purpose of this AP is to provide wireless uplink at a distance from, say, a parent AP or even just another U7 mesh. These APs, we've done substantial testing with them. They're out to customers now. And they're really designed for those long-distance, low-density deployments, doing something like a park, put this on top of a gazebo, provide coverage for maybe 10, 20 clients. And it's a really nice compact form factor, and it has really excellent long-distance range, of course, due to the directionality. But let's keep going. Let's talk about something a bit more exciting. Let's talk about MLO, because that's been a touchy subject for me. It's been an important subject to me. I came here 2 years ago to sort of talk about the first wave of MLO when we were first getting PCAPs and beacons and talking about how it would look. So where is MLO in 2026? It's really misunderstood. If you look at especially the consumer side, a lot of people do not understand MLO as a technology, and they don't understand how it's been marketed. We all saw white papers in 2023, 2022. They were talking about, oh, we're going to have this incredible bandwidth, we're going to have this incredible link stability, and it really hasn't panned out all that much. there's so much confusion around EMLSR and MLMR and STR, and it's just become an alphabet soup in customers' heads, and especially even with device manufacturers. It's hard to even get a clear picture of what MLO standards do you support if your client actually says it does. The big topic, the big one that's been released is EMLSR. That's in basically everybody's smartphones now. It's in a lot of laptops. That's where a lot of client OS support is too. And it helps latency, but it helps latency only under super loaded, super congested Wi-Fi channels. Most customers, if they turn this on, even a deployment the size of this hotel, really aren't going to see that much benefit from EMLSR. It's only in somewhere super constrained that you're going to see it. With most users not realizing the benefits, what's really the point of MLO? How can we best take advantage of this technology when the most commoditized version isn't all that helpful to most of us? So let's look at STR, because that's really what the white papers were about. That's how Intel and everybody else were hyping us up, saying that we're going to have multiple active links on multiple radios. You're going to get your resiliency, you're going to get your link bonding for performance, you're going to get your latency enhancement. So everybody wins, right? Consumers get their speed tests that show 3, 4, 5 gigabits so they can post on Reddit. But there's no client support for this. Where's the client support? I talked to some manufacturers about where's client support, and they all told me that, well, we make a lot of battery-powered stuff. We don't want to power on multiple radios in a battery-powered device. That's just going to make consumers even more unhappy. So now we create this chicken and egg problem, where we as the AP manufacturers don't want to develop STR-MLO because there's no client support, and the client manufacturers don't have any APs to develop against. So this really cool, really promising technology just sits on the shelf. Nobody does anything with it. But then we had this idea that, wait a minute, what if we just controlled both sides of that equation? What if we just made our own STR-MLO clients? So taking an access points chipset, access point antennas, and build them into novel form factors that can actually be clients themselves. So our first product was UDB Switch, and it launched just with SLO support, and we added MLO in a software update to enable it on 5 and 6 gigahertz. So this is a PoE switch. It's got 7 2.5 gig ports, 1 10 gig port, 2x2 on the radios, 8 dB antennas. This is a really neat device, and one of the most unique customer deployments I've seen with it so far is they had a print room, big MFP room. They had a bunch of old Hewlett-Packard printers, and they were all on Wi-Fi 3, Wi-Fi 4. So they were just chewing through airtime. Most of them were on 5 gigahertz too on Wi-Fi 4. Remember when that was a thing? So we were able to connect all of them to a UDB switch and get them all onto a single modern Wi-Fi 7 endpoint instead. And since we have VLAN tagging supported on the switch, this is super flexible. You can place it anywhere, adapts to almost any deployment. But then we thought we could do another really cool STR-MLO client, just AirWire. This is the real Wi-Fi nerd one right here. So it has STR-MLO on 5 and 6, but it connects via USB-C. And a lot of people were confused about that. They said, why doesn't it just have Ethernet? The USB-C gives us functionality. You can plug this into anything, iOS, Android, Windows, Mac, Linux. It enumerates as an Ethernet device because all the Wi-Fi configuration is handled inside UniFi network. So there's no need for your client OS to even be aware of STR-MLO or even know what it is. This just works straight away. So it's 2x2 on each radio, but it's an 11 dB directional antenna. You just flip up that top cover and just point and aim at your nearest AP. You've got a nice handy screen there to tell you how powerful the signal is. Also, if you've got a few of these placed around running different machines, you can use a spectral scanning radio that's built into it, so you can look at non-Wi-Fi interference on 2, 4, 5, and 6.
Does that get power from a USB-C?
Yes, it does.
Okay, so you don't fix the power draw problem, you just add STR-MLO to your client.
Exactly. Somebody had to do it, so we decided we would.
Yeah, no, it's...
What if it needs more power than a Linux or iOS device can handle?
Oh, there's a secondary port on it to provide it with power from, a power bank or a wall plug. So what does a PCAP show? This was really the big question of like when we had STRMLO, we demoed it at WLPC this year, was what is the PCAP actually doing? And it's actually splitting data pretty evenly among both radios. And then people want to know, okay, what's the heuristic? How does it actually split that data over the radios? So here are the key points to take away from the PCAP. It assigns traffic to the radio before transmission. That's just done on the driver side of the chipset. Both links are actually carrying bidirectional traffic. So some people thought, oh, is it doing transmission in 5 or receive in 6? No, it's both links are doing both at once.
It's doing 5 and 6, not 2.4 and 6 or 2.
Correct. So both of our STRMLO clients are only 5 and 6 gigahertz. They don't utilize 2.4 at all.
A lot of vendors do 2.4, so that's pretty cool.
Yeah, 2.4 was used a lot, especially for EMLSR, and our STRMLO clients, we looked at doing some stuff with 2.4, but given how noisy the band is anyway and the minimal performance gains, we decided to focus our efforts on 5 and 6. There's no packet duplication across the MLD connection, so packets are sent just over one, they're not doubling up, and then there's no retransmission migration. So if there's a retransmit on 5, it will keep retrying on 5. The neatest thing that we saw in our testing was that throughput scales almost perfectly. So if you have a 40 megahertz channel on 5, 40 on 6, it scales directly with STRMLO. This is a whole new way to think about RF. If you want to deliver 80 megahertz class performance to a client, you don't have to think, oh, I need to secure an 80 megahertz chunk in 5 gigahertz. You can secure 40 in each band. Instead of thinking about it just in one band, think about your total RF requirements over the entire spectrum. And that's where you can get some really good performance out of challenging RF environments using STRMLO. I do want to add that we only released STRMLO for those UDB switch and for the AirWire. But through a software update, we're enabling it for the rest of our 6 gigahertz Wi-Fi 7 APs, including the Express 7. We have some exciting details to share about Express 7 in the coming weeks, but that's one of the big ones. So if you build a mesh deployment with those, just one wired, multiple mesh nodes, they'll be communicating on 5 and 6 between each other. And speaking of spectrum management, a big request from our customers, I think actually back to the first mobility field day we attended in 2024 was, can we have an auto channel plan, please? And so we built it. It took a lot of time, a lot of R&D time, and we built out what we called Channel AI. Okay, there's our AI mention for the day. That's it, guys. But Channel AI is a super powerful algorithm. You just click optimize on any band. It uses neighbor reports, uses interference from neighboring AP or non-Wi-Fi interference, and then just builds you a channel plan. What's nice is that it's non-disruptive. So you can just click that button any time of day, and it will send channel change notifications out to, of course, supported clients. You might have some IoT that disconnects, but we've had customers that are schools that have run it with fleets of Chromebooks and macOS devices, and they respect the channel changes. Yeah.
You use the word AI and channel in the same descriptor.
Yes.
So does this have the intelligence to not only look from AP to AP, but also include client metrics in your decisions?
At this time, no, but we are currently expanding. This has been our phase 1 of it, and we're looking to expand its capabilities in the future.
And is it a manual kickoff process? Or?
It's a manual kickoff for right now, and we're going to add scheduling soon. We're talking about scheduling right now.
Do your access points send channel switch announcements as an action frame or in the beacons as an information element?
I believe as an action frame.
Okay.
I'd have to double check a PCAP, but it should be an action frame.
Are you doing scheduling and event-driven, or just scheduling?
I believe it's just scheduling for now. Or no, we're planning a scheduling. We could do event-driven, but right now it's a manual kickoff process for this.
Spreading DFS channels in 5 gigahertz for those, so you don't end up with 2 DFS channels right next to each other. Is that something that's taken into account so that you sort of spread that DFS load across the infrastructure?
Yes, and we also have DFS control entirely, so you can just turn DFS off for that site, and just you can also selectively block DFS channels in addition to that.
No, I want DFS to be on. I just
Right,
don't
but
want
you
two
want it to
DFS
spread
channels to be
out?
next to each other. Yeah.
Yes, it's fully cognizant of ACI and CCI,
Okay.
so it won't set up on top of each other.
ACI and CCI are different than stacking a DFS channel with a non-DFS channel.
Right.
Right, I want this AP to be 40 and I want that AP to be 120. And the next one needs to be 157, right?
Right.
How about if you have, let's say, repetitive DFS events on channel 120, does it have the intelligence to just shut off that channel and get it off the channel plan if there are too many?
Right now, it will notify an administrator to do that, but it'll say that, yeah, this is repeatedly getting DFS hit. But in the future, we could add the capability to restrict that. Okay? I knew that would get a lot of questions. And so going along with that, we do have a couple of new enterprise APs that we sort of rolled out a couple months ago.
Just quick question. Is that available now, or is that up?
Channel AI?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's available right now.
It's available. Okay.
Yep. So we introduced our E7 campus and audience last year. Those were outdoor standard power APs, and now we have dual mode certified LPI standard power indoor APs. So if you need highly directional coverage indoors for something like a shopping mall or a big, train terminal, something like that, this is what you would use. Yeah.
These are highly directional. Your channel AI, most other vendors' AI, the channel RRM is based on omnis. How does yours work with the directional antennas as part of that calculation?
It uses the AP neighbor reports that are sent back to UniFi network itself. So if the APs can't hear each other or can see a faraway AP, then we'll still take that into consideration. But it's all based on neighbor reporting. Okay. Actually, we did a really cool deployment with them last year. So we did Shopify Summit with the help of WLAN professionals, and we ceiling mounted E7 campus indoors. So this was a really interesting deployment. They wanted to have basically a hackathon, and they wanted all of their employees to be able to connect wirelessly in a convention center with no walls. Sure. So the original plan was to do Omni APs. Obviously, that would have been a nightmare. So by offering a highly directional, high spatial stream count AP, we made that event possible from a wireless perspective.
What's the beam width?
What?
What's the beam width?
It's 90 degrees on these, on the E7 campus. So it's 90 degrees on all
on
of them.
both APs? On this one and the dual radio one?
So I'll back up and show the E7 campus and audience here. So campus is 90-degree beam width.
Okay.
That's just fixed. Audience is single 5 gigahertz dual 6, and it is software selectable. So you can do a 50-degree or you can do a 90-degree. Just change a drop down in software.
Gotcha.
Yeah. 55? Yeah, 55. 55 to 90.
Depending on 5 or 6 gig.
Gotcha.
Okay, on campus? Yep. So that really gets into sort of building out an enterprise scale deployment, is building it out from the access layer, the core layer, on out to WAN connections. So we talked about sort of the enterprise grade APs, but let's talk about some of the other stuff. And I'm sure the eagle-eyed viewers who are looking at a full screen of this are like, ooh, what are those new SKUs? So let's talk about that. I promised you guys new hardware. So we'll start with EFG Core. This is our latest high-end gateway. So it supports IDS IPS at up to 79 gigabit per second. It supports tens of thousands of connected clients, and most importantly, thousands of VPN tunnels. So this is going to be our new flagship gateway, and you'll find out more details about this in the coming weeks. It pairs nicely with our ECS core, which is our new 100 gig rack mount switch. So 32 100 gig ports. It sort of builds a nice leaf spine style architecture with our ECS aggregation that we introduced last year. So you can now build a 100 gig backbone from gateway through leaf switches and spine switches. And this gets us down into the access layer where we now have ECS stackable switches. So we finally have a true stacking switch in UniFi. So these are 2.5 gig, 10 gig on the access port side, but on the back there are 100 gig interconnects that allow the switch to allow some loop-based redundancy, or some ring-based topology, I should say. And you can stack up to 8 of these switches. You can aggregate ports between the switches, between different units in the stack. It's actually a really neat design, and I'm really excited to see what customers can do with these.
Are the stacking ports in the back of the switch?
Yes. And that sort of gets us into our last bit of redundant network scale, which is 5G. We introduced an LTE product, I want to say maybe 6 or 7 years ago, and we've been waiting on a good 5G platform to build on now. And we introduced our first 3 5G products probably about less than 6 months ago, actually. So we started with U5G Max and U5G Max Outdoor. These are full-featured 5G modems, so they support 5G SA, they are carrier unlocked, they support dual SIM or single eSIM, and most importantly, they have a 2.5 gig LAN port. What does that mean? So unlike a traditional 5G backup modem, where you would have to cable it back to your gateway, these use a GRE tunnel, and they can connect back to the gateway from any UniFi switch port. This means that you can place it anywhere on your network. So if you have all of your networking in the basement of a building, and you want to put this up near a top floor office that might be in direct line of sight with a tower, perfect. You can absolutely do that. We want to give you the installation flexibility, and most importantly, not have to home run new cabling to take advantage of our 5G solutions. We also introduced Dream Router 5G Max, which is a nice little all-in-one device. It's semi-portable. I've seen people that carry them around in flight cases or in their backpacks. But this is a full-featured UniFi gateway with built-in 5G, tri-band Wi-Fi 7, switching, everything in a box.
The Max.
Yeah.
It left you at a loss for words.
Left me at a loss for words. No, so I see it supports T-Mobile, Verizon coming soon. Does that include Google Fi?
Google Fi should work. I've had customers attest that
Okay.
works.
And do you have a physical SIM on there, or is it an eSIM?
Yeah, so all 3 of those have dual physical SIM slots, and then they also support an eSIM.
Oh.
So if you need to remotely provision them, eSIM works great. If not, you can put physical SIMs in them.
Okay.
We've got a question in from YouTube regarding the performance of the gateways, specifically the difference in performance that folks are seeing between just L2 versus inter VLAN routing. Can you speak to kind of what the performance hit is right now and any plans to improve that?
It would really depend on the model that I'd be able to speak on that.
Okay, so if we talk like the Fortress Gateway or the larger ones.
Yeah, I don't know the performance metrics offhand for like EFG Core or some of the newer gateways. However, I believe we have those specifications published, don't we, for some of the routing? Yeah.
Okay.
It's published on techspecs.ui.com. So we've introduced all of these 5G products, but the price tag is still a little high for most businesses. If people want a dedicated 5G backup connection or to use as a secondary WAN, these are perfect. Ultra high performance, great. But what if I run, let's say, a fleet of businesses, 100 businesses, 200 shops, and I just want a 5G backup connection that'll just run my point of sale or let me look at my security cameras remotely? We're introducing a 4th option today, which is U5G backup, starting at $99. So U5G backup is a 5G RedCap solution. You can see it's ultra compact. You can just look at the width of the cable that's plugged into it. It takes a SIM, it takes an eSIM.
Look how small it is.
Depending on how you want to install it. And we are going to be offering data plans for it through Site Manager. You'll just be able to buy a bucket of data and use it whenever you need it. Or you can put in your own SIM. They're all factory unlocked. You can use them on any carrier. But again, if you just want to just have a bucket of data just to sit in standby, this is a great product for that. It's an MVNO, and I'm trying to remember which MVNO we're using. Okay. I think it's piggybacking on AT&T's network. Okay. And so with our 5G solutions, we have full policy-based routing support, so you can pick which networks and which devices are allowed to use this. So for the full U5G backup, yeah, fine, just let everything use it. But for the U5G backup, for the smaller scale device, obviously just pick your point of sale VLAN or your point of sale devices and just let those go out over WAN. But we think this is going to give a lot of deployment flexibility to a lot of customers. And that sort of gets us into my last segment, which I think is going to be probably the most exciting one. I'm saving the best for last, which is UniFi Industrial. For those of you who don't know, I came from the process control space a long time ago, so industrial stuff is near and dear to my heart. So we started off with UCG Industrial. We launched that late last year. It's essentially a hardened, beefed up version of our popular UCG fiber. It's a small scale gateway with big power. So 10G WAN, 10G LAN ports, SFP plus cage, flexible power options, including a 4-pin Molex and 54-volt DC input. And it's got a temperature hardened case. So you can run this in really high temperatures, really low temperatures, and it's going to handle those kinds of conditions much better. I've seen customers that want to deploy these in things like broadcast trucks or just throw them in a roadie case, take them with them. This is a perfect solution.
What are the industrial ratings on it? Is it IP97?
I'd have to double check. We don't have any ratings for it for waterproofing. This particular product is designed for more temperature resistance than anything else. And if you notice, it has SIM slots on it. So it pairs nicely with our U5G Outdoor Max here. And by just plugging that in, you can put the SIMs in the gateway and mount that anywhere on a building, anywhere on a tower, anywhere where those SIM slots would be inaccessible. And you can use the hardware SIM slots here and send the data to the modem.
Oh. Really?
Give you some neat installation flexibility there, or if you need to change SIMs in the future, you don't need to call facilities to send somebody up on a ladder to go eject SIMs.
Multiple modem? I mean, multiple of the APs or just one?
You just need one U5G backup, but that would be interesting if you could actually send 2 SIMs to 2 different ones if you needed carrier aggregation. That'd be an interesting story. I'll check with the team on that. Okay. But now we can't just have a gateway. We got to have some more industrial stuff, right? So let's talk about our UniFi Industrial switches. Now, I'm not going to give away the full specs on these, but you can see they're DIN rail mountable, dual DC power input, again, temperature hardened. These are really exciting switches for us, and we're going to be launching these in the coming months. But yeah, look forward to more details about these. But what I can talk about, and especially exciting for Mobility Field Day, I promised an AP, didn't I?
Yes.
Yes.
Say hello to U7 Industrial. It's got a really one. Hello. It's wild, isn't it? Batman. It is the Batman. I'm going to call it Batman AP now. So what Batman does is it's got, of course, external antenna support, but obviously these are the most exciting part. These are RF reflectors. Because we have reflectors, we can effectively control the beam width of the built-in panel AP at a hardware level. These are just like old radar waveguides. And there are sensors in the AP that know exactly how much they've been adjusted.
What?
That means that we can now control the TX power and make sure that you're not exceeding compliance requirements just by adjusting these. So it's independently adjustable for 2.4 and 5 gigahertz. And if you want to be boring, you can cable your own custom antenna to it, but this is cooler.
I got a question. If somebody adjusts your flaps, can you alert on that? Can you like set it and like know that it's supposed to be? Because people always monkey with things like that.
Yeah, absolutely.
A strong breeze comes through, right?
Yeah, and you're able to see that remotely. It will actually tell you what the angle is, so you can confirm that remotely.
I would want to alert on that. Like if I set it, I want to know if somebody
Absolutely.
changes it.
Forklift hit
Or
again.
a forklift or of a bird.
Yeah.
Yep.
So you have here 60, 70, 90. So I guess when you adjust those to those, so are there like predefined like click points, like where this is a 60 degree, this is 70, this is 90, or when you're adjusting it?
I believe there might be detents. I don't actually have hands-on with this one yet.
Okay.
But it is definitely reported in the software. That much I have seen.
Do you know what the external antenna connectors are?
I believe they're just normal SMA connectors.
How many?
I'm not sure actually. These are the only render pictures that I have.
Does this AP meet any classified spaces requirements, like class 1 div 1, class 1 div 2?
I'd have to check with our compliance team on that and see where we are with certifications.
Oh, it's not even on the website yet. So this is new.
I told you, yeah, neither are the industrial switches. I promised you guys knew. How new do you want? This will be U7 industrial.
And going back to the switches, are they simply layer 2? Are they layer 3 as well?
Again, I'm not 100% sure of final specifications, but
Okay.
they will definitely be VLAN aware and support VLAN tagging, all of that stuff.
Okay.
Whether they would support L3 routing, I'm not 100% sure.
What about 802.1x?
Yes, they will support 802.
It does support that. Okay.
Only dual band on this?
Only dual band on this. This is our first AP in our line of industrial stuff. So we're going to see where the customer interest is. I would love to do a standard power capable version of this, but of course standard power makes it trickier to sell in a lot of jurisdictions. So with this one, at least dual band, we can sell worldwide.
PoE plus?
I believe it should be PoE plus.
Speaking of PoE plus, can you go back to your enterprise? What is it? ECS Enterprise Campus Switch? Is that the abbreviation?
Yes. You saw PoE plus plus plus.
I did. Yes, and I cannot figure out what the hell that is.
So that is
not BT.
Yeah. So it's BT Type 4. And we're using that in marketing because we think that calling something 802.3 BT twice is really annoying. Because there's a 60 watt variant and there's the 90 watt variant, right?
Wasn't there a 4? There's like a...
There's up to 8 classes, I thought.
Yeah, there's a term for that, though, and PoE plus 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 isn't used anywhere else in the world.
Right.
Ubiquiti uses it.
It is now. Trademark.
So a bit of feedback, right? If you're going to be making up and inventing new terms, like if you're going to call this a Wi-Fi 9 AP, right? Just because you're reusing a marketing term and you're going to add another couple things on top, it's going to create confusion. Right. At least, at minimum, put into the data sheet what you mean by PoE.
It does.
No, it doesn't. I just looked on the website.
Does it not?
It says PoE plus plus plus, and that's it. At least on the data sheet on the webpage. Yeah.
That's unfortunate. I'll have that corrected.
Okay.
It's definitely Type 4.
Okay.
Yep.
But if they put an asterisk at the end as a note, that's going to be even more confusing.
I'd even be okay with that, but I didn't see.
It's actually asterisk, asterisk, asterisk.
And everyone gets a free one, right?
Yeah.
We all get one.
That's next round.
Next
time.
When they exist.
Yeah, when they exist. Yeah. So, all right, that takes us through our UniFi industrial lineup, and that's really all of the new product that I have. So I'm going to hand it off here to Andrew.
Go back to one more slide.
Yeah.
Industrial. I realize the products don't exist yet.
The gateway does, but the other stuff does not. Right.
So DIN rail industrial switches you usually see come along with like Profinet support and all sorts of industrial protocol support. Is that coming as well, or is these just going to be hardened switches? Fair enough. All right.
Yep.
Yep.
Like I said, I'm not going to reveal too much about those.
Understood.
All right. But anyway, I keep wanting to hand it off to Andrew. I keep wanting to get off the hot seat. But I'm going to hand it off to Andrew. He's going to talk to you about some of the rest of our stuff and how we're adaptable at scale.
Yes, thank you, Tom. And thanks, everyone. For those who don't know, I'm Andrew from Ubiquiti, and I've been here for a while now, since the early days of UniFi even. When I first joined the company, we didn't even have a gateway yet on UniFi, so it's nice to see how far we've come with the technology and how we're starting to deliver on that vision Today we're going to be talking about flexibility and really how we can, an important focus for us is that we have one of the most diverse customer bases there is in the industry. We handle every customer from the smallest scale to the largest scale. We're in full stadiums, Fortune 100 companies, and we're also in single AP homes. And we have to create an experience that works for every customer throughout that, and that's really what we're known for. Part of what we understand is that whenever a customer trusts us to try one of our products, we want to deliver a really high-end experience and one that conveys sophistication, conveys that we are thoughtful about it, and because we don't have salespeople to go sell it to people. We don't have enough sales resources to knock down someone's door and tell them how good the product is. If someone tries it out, we have to succeed to be able to get them to come back and buy more product. And I think that's something we've delivered on pretty well over the years. But when it comes to having product flexibility, it's really critical because we're trying to deliver this full ecosystem that's built around bringing everything together into one place. I don't want to upset you guys by saying a single pane of glass, but that's kind of what it actually is this time. And you can see even in the name Ubiquiti itself, our whole vision for UniFi is we want this to be a product that, Ubiquiti means it's everywhere, right? And we want this to be a product that can be deployed anywhere for anyone and can be used for anything. And that's where we have this, in addition to having the really large customer base, we also have the widest product offerings, I would say, virtually of any of the network vendors. And so that we're kind of starting to really deliver on that. Like I said, when I came into the company in 2015, we didn't have a gateway. And now we have EV chargers, we have digital signage, we have VoIP phones, we have NAS servers, we have UPSs. And so this is exciting to see because really having that wide product portfolio allows us to reach the specific needs of every specific IT environment, whether that's a small business, a education environment. And so we don't have the luxury of saying we're not going to sell a product to this customer because our whole business is hardware, right? We're selling hardware, not licensing. We're not selling the software. We add that for free. And so for us, we have to deliver products that meet all of our customers' requirements, no matter who they are and no matter what they need. So today I'm going to talk about, to give you an example of kind of how we think about flexibility when we're coming out with products, I'm going to talk about our device bridge product family, which this is a very kind of unique product that I think for those of you that deployed Wi-Fi, we've all gone to a situation where you're going to go deploy, a whole network, and then you realize that, oh wait, we didn't know about this challenge here. Oh, there's this, 3-foot thick cement wall here, and I don't know how we're going to deal with that actually. This product family is built around trying to solve those issues. So if you look over here on the right, this is basically a summary of how this product works. So in this case, this is our UniFi device bridge. It's a PoE injector that also has a Wi-Fi adapter in it. So the idea here is you can take any wired device on your network. So say it's a security camera, and you don't have a cable. You can't run a cable to that security camera for whatever reason. Sometimes it's budget reasons. Sometimes it's the materials of the walls. There's lots of different scenarios. But this device itself can create a high quality, 5 gigahertz connection to that access point. And what's cool is you pull it out of the box, you plug it in, and if you have AutoLink enabled on UniFi, it automatically pulls in that device as if it was a wired device. So you don't have to do anything. And the cool thing is about this device, there's a little indicator on it that tells you how good the signal quality is. So you can adjust where you place it and everything. We also have a screwable antenna that you can screw in on top to make it more directional too, to improve the quality of that. But you can see here for us, imagine going to a cafe and selling them a full stack network. A lot of cafes don't have a lot of money to spend on $3,000, $4,000 of equipment. What's cool with UniFi is we can deliver a full stack network deployment with one of our all-in-one routers like Tom talked about with 5G, so that we have redundancy in the event that the primary WAN connection fails. They can still stay online, process those payments and not turn away customers, right? But in addition to that, we can also add on the other components that they want to add, like physical security, like add on, they want a camera that looks at that register, and they want a camera that looks at that front door, but they don't have cables ran. And for them, that ends up being a pretty expensive price point. What's cool with us is that we can actually deliver a solution there that's affordable. This is only $99 for this device. And you put 2 of these for your 2 security cameras in a small cafe, and you've solved that problem for $200.
What's the provisioning process for that device without an interface?
Yeah, so what, the device without the interface, you mean the
remote end of that bridge.
Okay, so the way it works is with our AutoLink feature, which basically is it's similar to what we have with meshing with our access points. But instead of using it for 2 access points, they're going to create a backhaul to provide that pass that network. traffic. They're instead, this is functioning as a client, but utilizing that same sort of feature set to automatically bring it online and tend to be detected by the access point, and then immediately it automatically pulls it onto that site, right? And then what's cool about that too is that instead of having to even think about like, what do I need to do next to get this working, it's just already working, and then you can just see the camera there ready to be managed.
Yeah, what are the controls in place to make sure it's connecting to my bridge and not a neighbor's?
Yeah, so I think it's definitely more of a problem in high density environments and places like a skyrise and that kind of environment. You know, you may not want to have AutoLink enabled just purely for the reason being that maybe you want to be systematic about where you get that device. You know, but I can't tell you exactly. You know, how maybe Tom, you can know if there's any sort of way to prevent the device from being adopted by another site.
Can you do a manual adoption?
Pairing or adoption?
Yeah, once you adopt it, it'll appear. Oh. Yeah, so once it's being broadcast, we'll see that, and we won't automatically adopt it. You have to actually go and click, and then once it's clicked and you adopt it to your system, you have all the encryption.
So if you have the app up, then you can just click adopt there and pull it down.
Once
yeah, my apologies
once
for
it's
the
steady state, there's no resetting it unless somebody's going physically resetting and then doing it in their system. But even then, that's just managing the bridge specifically, so then they would have to also do that for the camera as well.
I assume that means it'll only work with Ubiquiti APs?
That's right, yep. So that's the challenge, but you know, what we're trying to deliver on, what we want to do is build to have a solution that works, that does everything in that environment, because that's really where you get a lot of the benefit of the product. For instance, our cloud gateways are a big example of our mission of flexibility. Like, we want a device to be your router for your cafe, but also we want it to be able to be the MVR for your cameras. We also want it to be able to run the PBX server for the VoIP phones. Without compromising on value, you can still get all these features in one form factor, which then lowers the overhead to enter into other spaces. What you'll find if you happen to sell UniFi as a business, you'll find once you sell to a customer, it's an extremely sticky product. It's so much easier to sell them more products in the future because they have a good experience. They think, oh, well, this actually was pretty affordable and it worked really well and it's got great features. And so it becomes that much easier to sell them on other products, and you've lowered the barrier of entry for those other products you could add on. So that's kind of where customers that are doing the most with our products end up saving the most money in the process and having the best experience, because we can provide, you know, cross-app integrations like automatic door opening events, where we provide a camera, a recording of every single door opening event with multiple angles on that. Like, that's an example where we can provide value to the other apps by having them co-located on the same device.
Is this limited to a single VLAN, or can it trunk?
I believe it can be. I believe it's not limited to single VLAN. Do you know if it's limited to single VLAN?
No, it's not limited to a single VLAN.
Yeah. So let's talk about a few of the other variants of this idea. So there's another one here we have on the left is our device bridge IoT. And so this device here, it's very affordable. It's $49, and this is meant for cases where, you know, you don't need PoE out, so you don't need a power device to this. So it's not a PoE injector, but it is a Wi-Fi adapter. And you can manage it through UniFi. You can use the auto linking to pull it in. And then you can, you know, example of a use case for this, I've heard some of you here talking about this before, where you go to a nice new Wi-Fi deployment, and then you have all these, you know, old X-ray imaging machines in this hospital that have the oldest wireless interface you've ever seen, and it lowers the experience for all the clients and adversely affects the network. Instead of having them on that, you can use this device to use that Ethernet interface to bring it into Wi-Fi, even if it's portable, and it will connect to the Wi-Fi. And the nice thing is too is even if once you've adopted it, even if it roams to a different access point, it can still stay connected there, right?
So it's but it is PoE pass-through.
This does not do PoE. The other one does. So let me show you what this cable right here is. That's an external antenna connector that you can use if you want to be able to run the antenna, say, to a location that's far away from this device. Then you can do that as well. That's an external antenna. You can also screw in the antenna. It has a little small antenna that you can have screwed in there.
Gotcha. So whatever device you have has to be powered by another means.
Yeah. So this device too. Let me make this clear. This device itself, you can also disable PoE pass-through if you'd like to. And that's an optional feature. I'd say it's more common something you do with our outdoor products, which we'll talk about in a minute. But then Tom already discussed the device bridge switch, so I don't need to go much into that. But you can see, like, you know, if you have this amount of seating you want to have against this large concrete wall in a large business even, this gives you an opportunity to to set desks up there and have it all connected without having to drill into that cement and everything else.
And just one more question is, because I think for the previous one, someone asked, can this be used with non-Ubiquiti? I'm assuming the same thing. This only works with Ubiquiti, right?
That's right.
It's not like just a client that can connect to any SSID. It has to be Ubiquiti.
Yes, yeah. And that's because we kind of have to in order to make it work, right? We also have, this is, I think, one of the most common scenarios, too, that we're seeing this, and one I think you're all more likely to encounter, which is, you go to deployment, and you have say it's at a grocery store. You've installed all these access points and cameras in this grocery store, but they also want to get information about who's driving the cars of someone that steals some products for their theft prevention team. And so they want to get information about who's in the parking lot, what cars they're driving, and so what they can do, if they don't have Ethernet cables ran to all those poles, which is unlikely, right? They can install our sector device there, which is the one you see in the center in that larger kind of circle there, and it has the 90-degree beam width that then it can look at all those poles within its range, and then all those devices that you see here, the Device Bridge Pro, points back and bridges it to a camera.
I think all those white pathways on the grass don't serve you well because it looks like the antennas are using that as...
That's a good point. We'll have to start designing to make it all grass.
People.
Yeah, get rid of the pathway, just do grass, okay? And this is, I think most common people are using this for cameras because the nice thing is it does PoE out, so you get one power drop, and you can power that Device Bridge Pro that points back in a 10-degree beam width back to this device. You get the indication of how strong the signal is so that you can adjust it just right. And then it also provides all the PoE you need for that camera, so that's all you have to have is that one power drop, and then you've got everything covered. And now you can do some interesting things too when you start using our flex switches, which you can have installed in the outdoor container. But you can also use, I've seen people use this for Wi-Fi also in certain situations. Like, instead of doing meshing, which we know has a bad, when you're doing two omnidirectional antennas that are meshed together, there's not a lot of range there to work with, and it's very easy for that quality to get diminished of that connection. When you're dealing with point-to-point bridges, these devices can go up to 5 kilometers. So you can have two of these pointed at each other, and they can cover quite a long range, but then you can have that secondary device bridge it to an omnidirectional access point, and then you've dropped an area of coverage without sacrificing the same channel that you're utilizing for the clients. You don't have to assign it to the same channel, so you're not eating up all that airtime as well.
Could you also do like a point-to-point, but having a dual radio AP? One is the backhaul, the other one just provides Wi-Fi for that?
Yeah. You mean use it as a real bridge?
Yep, and there's also cases where, in some cases, you can also use these point-to-point devices, point them at one of our directional APs, to also use the same functionality through that. Now, I recommend generally to stick within the family. It's going to be better range. But if it's in a parking lot, you'll have no problem reaching 40 feet to that access point, and it's going to be a better quality with that directional antenna instead of being omnidirectional and being meshed to the access point, right?
So you mentioned this earlier. You said you can move the bridge to get a better coverage. So the bridges are directional?
Yeah. So the bridges are directional. Yes. The 10-degree beam width.
Highly.
10-degree beam width.
Yeah, and then 90 degrees on the sector there, which is acting as that point to multi-point base station there, that they can have, I forget the number that it can handle. It's a large number of
40, 50.
Yeah, so a large number of these devices pointed back to it. And when you think about how much range that it actually covers, I mean, these pros can be doing point to point as well to each other up to 5 kilometers.
So the device pros have 10-degree.
Yeah, and you get that little indicator, so even if you're far away, you can kind of see if you adjust it, that you're getting a little bit better signal, and that can help you when you're installing.
But 10 degrees is still a lot, covers.
It is, yeah. But with that range, I think most scenarios you're going to be fine within that. And what's cool about this too, with our experience as a company, we're pretty unique in that we got our start in that outdoor wireless bridging technology, and that's really something we can bring to the table that other vendors don't have. And so we're able to build something really strong. And what's cool about this too is now you can, instead of having it on a separate platform, like the ISP products that we offer, like AirMax, some of you may have worked with that before. They work really well, and you leave them there, forget about them, and they function for a long time. I've seen some of them deploy for 10, 15 years, right? But what's great about this, instead of having it on a different platform, it's all in UniFi. So this idea of bringing everything together, you don't have to worry about managing this point-to-point link in a different application. It's all in the same place as everything else you're managing already, which again leads to so much simpler of an experience, and especially when you consider we have free cloud management for all of our products. That basically this allows you to manage these anywhere from the world, but alongside everything else.
Is the expectation that these are like PoE powered with an injector at the remote end,
yes,
and then injectors in an enclosure?
Yeah, PoE injector in an enclosure, or yep, exactly. So let me just show you, that's the whole product family there, but you can kind of see this is a unique category that only I think Ubiquiti could do, really, because if it was some other vendors, I think these would be too expensive, that it would be prohibitive, that you couldn't even use it. There would be no point in using them, right? It's worth running the cable there in this situation because it's not going to solve any affordability issues, right? So with us, with our experience and with our model, it allows us to create solutions that nobody else could. And in doing so, these become a way for people to come into our ecosystem as well. This might be the first experience. They might see that they need something like this, and they research the platform, try it out, get a couple of access points. And with the sector, that can be standalone with the point-to-point links. So that in that scenario, you don't have to have a full UniFi Wi-Fi network. You just have to have one of those plugged into the network, and that's all you need. And so that's a good way to get started. And people would just naturally want to go add access points on later on once they see the value of the product.
Are all these standard PoE, or are they using the passive PoE that the AirMax stuff uses?
Yeah, it's all standard PoE. It's not passive yet.
Well done.
So this brings us to the next product we want to talk about, and this is one that I've been somewhat surprised at this, but anytime I go to a trade show now, this is what 90% of people want to talk to me about. They say, when is your travel router going to be in stock? What's going on with the travel router? And what's fascinating about this device is this is one of those devices that captures that large customer base angle, right? Like this is a product that is useful for a parent that's taking their kids on a flight, wants to connect, they all have their iPads to watch, Bluey or whatever they're going to watch, right? And instead of having to re-authenticate to pass the iPad to dad and mom or have them enter in the, pay for the Wi-Fi, all that stuff, repeat that process 3 times or whatever, you instead have all those devices that you just authenticate on this one device, the Wi-Fi, and then it provides...
Now, I know you're not actively encouraging people to ignore terms of service for
precisely
services, right?
Yeah, you would pay for it multiple times in your life.
Yeah, okay.
I'm just talking about the simplicity angle.
Okay, I want to make sure, because
Right.
it sounded different.
Right. And so that's one example where that's for very price-conscious customer. What's cool about this device is it's $79.99. And another feature that it has too is you can also easily set up a WireGuard VPN, and this can be standalone too to work with whatever gateway you have in your home network or your business. Cool. And so this is another example where for an enterprise environment, they might want to give these out to all of their employees that travel a whole lot just to make sure they get on the VPN if at all possible, instead of connecting to open Wi-Fi at a cafe and risking proprietary information or cybersecurity attacks. It provides a degree of protection against that. So you can see that this creates a lot of demand. I think this is why I get contacted by so many people about it, is because everybody wants one of these. And what I like about this most of all too is that it captures the whole UniFi experience in a standalone device. You don't have to have anything else, and it's accessible. You try it out and you realize, man, this works really well. So it's a nice little screen on it. I mean, who makes this? And I think this is naturally one of our great sales tools, is creating a product like this, these little gadgets. It's kind of like the AirWire device Tom talked about, but I think this one's much more demand, organic demand, right? But I think it's an exciting product. I'm excited to see where we go with this product family. It's been very successful, a lot of demand around it, and we're going to keep coming out with features that expand on the functionality. But I think you'll find that this is, again, one of those unique UniFi devices that we can do something different and really kind of standardize a better solution for this kind of use case. Another area, too, that kind of captures another thing we've had to do recently, which is SuperLink is our new family of sensors. So we have a lot of customers out there that deploy our cameras, they deploy our access control, but they might use third-party sensors. And the challenge with this is, let's say that someone opens a door, a third-party door sensor, and they want to be able to get the PTZ camera to automatically pan to that door. If there's no integration with that third party, it's going to be difficult to implement that with our cameras. What's cool about this platform is we have built in, as you see in the back there, we support. We're even bringing in third-party sensors and things and third-party alarming, and you can use this with the alarm manager.
Just for clarification, when you say sensor, you're talking specifically access control sensor.
Yeah, we have a whole area of sensors on this, from everything from air quality is something that we have coming out. We have water leak sensors. We have door contact sensors. This whole family of sensors coming in integrates really well with the cameras, integrates with the access control to where you can do things like if the sensor trips, yeah, I want to make the camera automatically pan to this location.
The only reason I was asking is because when you said sensor, I was immediately thinking Wi-Fi sensor, checking DHCP.
I should know my audience,
That's
right?
Like that. You're just talking about, okay, so access control sensor.
Right, exactly.
Environmental
sensors. So we've got a whole set of use cases for this that integrate with our alarm manager, which I'll talk about in just a minute. But I think this is what's cool about where we're going with our products is that we're also being more friendly to third-party integrations. I know many of you, I went to, I met some of you, 8 years ago, and you were talking to us back then about saying, why don't you guys have more API stuff? Why don't you guys do anything that, why don't you make it easier for us to integrate with our own process and everything? And we've taken that and we've addressed that. We've listened to what you had to say and we've been responding to that. So I'll show you some other ways we've been listening to you guys in just a minute. But yeah, go ahead.
So Mac Telecom asked, can third-party monitoring be available worldwide for Superlink?
We listed on our blog post for our last version of Protect that we are partnering with Noonlight to provide monitoring for both cameras and sensors. Initially, it's going to be, I think, just for the cameras, but the long term, the vision is that we're going to also have that in the near future for sensors as well. So they'll be able to pay for it. And what's cool about this too, this is the kind of thing that we can do. We network with a third-party provider, and instead of making this a cash cow for us, where we're going to charge you lots of money, and because we're bringing lots of customers to them, we can make a lot of profit from it. We're still focused on making that accessible for the customers. So I think this is what you'll find once we release it. I don't know the details on pricing yet, but I fully expect this to be among the most economical options for getting monitoring for your cameras.
So the sensors that join a Ubiquiti network, how do they transmit the data? Like, what's their hopping off point? Is it a camera? Is it AP?
You see the sender device there? That's called our Superlink. That's like the device that connects to all the sensors, and it's using our Superlink protocol, which is based off of LoRa. But it connects to all those devices. And we've also just come out with another one that has thread support, too. We've announced one that has also added thread support on that. I don't know what all that's going to entail yet, but I'm excited to see. I know lots of people are anxious to see what we're going to include there. But I think this is going to be an exciting category because really this alarm manager is becoming this really big value add for us. We bring all these people in this one ecosystem, and then we're also providing really smart ways that they can automate processes, get information in real time. If you're a managed service provider that manages 1,000 locations, you don't have time to have your team looking at every single site looking for performance issues. But what you can do is you can set it up to where it's going to give you a notification if there's a certain amount of packet loss. You want to automatically create a ticket for your team to look at, and maybe even automate an email message to the customer saying, hey, we noticed this much packet loss on your WAN connection. We're investigating, and we'll let you know once we resolve.
So you do have a sensor that does packet loss type testing?
Yeah, it's not a sensor. It's part of our gateway product that's going to provide that. Yeah. I'll show you a little bit more of that in a minute. But this is another area we're growing a lot is in Pro AV. So we have a very competitive product for the AV market and one that people really like to work with our product. Again, when we're talking about residential AV especially, these expensive licenses disqualify other products that we compete with just from the get-go, right? So we have a smaller subset of competitors that are in this space. And with our quality of our offerings, we're already really succeeding there. But what we were missing was the time synchronization piece. We didn't have PTP support. But now we have with these new family of switches, we're going to be able to support PTP and ensure that when you're dealing with latency between audio and video, that you're not having any gaps there to create sync issues and things like that. But we've delivered that all within our products and added a lot more value there. You can see the top right there too. We also help with port profiles. You can set up port profiles to be a Pro AV switch port that goes to a speaker system or whatever device there in the network, and what we can do is we can automatically apply those QoS profiles that we've partnered with those third-party providers to get that into our application and make it easy where they can just assign it to Dante or Crestron. And again, that's one of the nice features that people like with using our product.
Yes, your precision time support, are you bringing that to any, like your enterprise switches or anything like
that?
Or is it strictly the Pro AV?
It's just these ones, as far as I know, it's just these ones right now.
Okay.
We'll see, I don't know.
Yeah, so
it's hard to do.
Yeah, it is, but I'm also curious why a separate SKU and not kind of building this into your enterprise lineup to begin with.
Yeah, I think this is the very first implementation we have of it, and these are we call our enterprise AV products, right?
Yeah.
So these are, you can see here we included EAV fiber, which is more likely to be the kind of scale of fiber we see in the AV install, but certainly in enterprise environment, there's going to be cases where they want a larger capacity than this. I think it makes sense for us to look at how we can deliver this, but this is going to be the first entry in this product family, and I expect us to look at if there's ways that we can incorporate other ways into our products. I think once we got firmware support and we've got it implemented to the product, it's a lot easier for us to add that on in the future to other products that we release.
Yeah, more and more even environments that used to have kind of dedicated AV and video networks, that's all getting converged onto a single network with a single core. The more and more more and more I see it.
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, I'm excited to see where this goes. We've also got this EAV bridge device, which basically converts these other forms of media into over Ethernet and delivers that. So you can use this as a transmitter or receiver. I don't really even know. Like I don't know all the ways people are going to use it, but I'm sure there's a lot of interesting use cases for this. But this is just a nice little device we can add on to add some value. Again, you see, we fill a niche little solution with something we can contribute, and that offers value to our AV partners out there, right?
Are the HDMIs for output?
The input or output.
Okay.
So the EAV bridge, does that only work with this product, or is that something that can work with any switch?
That I don't know, actually. I don't know if it would work.
Yeah, I got
Because I'm
this.
assuming it's like to do HDMI over Ethernet, right? Or
Yeah,
it's like a media, almost like a media.
So it's using SDVoE as its transport protocol, and it will work really. We sort of built it alongside these, but it really just needs IGMP snooping to work.
Okay.
So if you have switches that are IGMP snooping aware, that's really what these are built for. And then the reason that we sort of built this out as a separate SKU is because of the clocking support. So the neat feature about these switches is that they have a built-in hardware grandmaster clock. So there's an RPSMA connector on the back, connect to a GPS antenna, boom, there's your clock source.
Can you do other sources?
Yep, you can put these into boundary clock mode and just pass through any external clock that you have. But really, it's about making them clocking aware.
Okay.
Is there any possibility of Zigbee or Z-Wave to interact with door locks with this whole sensor thing?
I wouldn't say I'd say nothing's impossible. I've seen this.
I'm making my leave right now.
Some stuff we were very much against. You never know. I don't know of anything myself offhand, but I would say if there's demand from customers and people just let us know, it's definitely something that we.
Does it work with NDI as an NDI receiver?
We do have NDI. I know we have the NDI port profiles. So
The EAV bridge is not an NDI receiver.
Okay.
Let's talk about another thing that we've added, which is one of those nice enterprise features, which is doing routed interfaces. So this is really great for environments where maybe you have all of our enterprise stack. Adds benefits to the network, of course, with having that routed interface. You can limit the broadcast traffic and can improve the efficiency at which, when there's a failure of a switch, that automatically the traffic gets routed on to the next hop. And this is also great in cases where we have a lot of customers that are using us in mixed vendor environments. In that case, it's fine. You can use our access switches, our 48Ss, for example, to be able to integrate with OSPF topologies in a mixed vendor environment as well, which I think for a lot of people is important, where they might use us currently for like in a university environment. Maybe they want to stick with another vendor for the core switching for now and use us for all the access switching. I see every configuration you can imagine. But this provides a nice feature that has been requested by a lot of customers that we need to have in order to have more of that layer 3 functionality, right? We also, this is when I talk about things that you guys requested from us. I know it was either last year or the one before, but you guys specifically asked us about this, but there you go. It's been implemented for about four or 5 months.
Bye.
So now your PCAPs, you can go look and see the beacon, or the AP name in the beacon, right? So
quality of life improvements are important.
Absolutely. So yeah, we're moving past that message of flexibility necessarily and more into like just things that we're being able to add that also help. If you're a customer that, for a small business, this might not matter at all, right? But for you guys who are deploying a lot of Wi-Fi at a very large scale, and you need to be able to have all this information, be able to troubleshoot advanced issues, you need features like this to be able to make your job easier, and it gives you a better taste in your mouth when it comes to Ubiquiti. You don't feel so bad about working with the APs, having to guess which BSSID was pointed to.
Yeah, even if it's just 4 or 5 APs, it's important to be able to validate.
Yeah, it just simplifies things and streamlines the whole experience, right?
What information element is this included in? Is it a vendor specific or is it?
I don't know specifically if it's vendor specific or not. Do you know how it's implemented?
Yeah, it's in the vendor IE. It's in the vendor IE for Ubiquiti, and we've been working with various tool providers to be able to integrate it. So Wi-Fi Explorer already supports it.
Okay.
Sorry a second.
Oh, sorry.
All right, thank you. Let's move on. So another area that we're able to add some more information. Again, we get in environments where roaming is always going to be a big issue in high-density environments or places where this is so important in many deployments, right? So now we're able to add more analytics to provide more advanced information for people who know what they're doing to kind of save you some effort of having to go through the packet captures necessarily to get all the information about what's going on with the roaming. We're helping you be able to to group all these roaming events together to be able to get information about, what the signal, which AP did it roam from, and what was the result, which SSID was it on, and so on. You can also filter. Yeah, go ahead.
Is it shipping?
Sorry?
Is this shipping?
Yeah, this is already out, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah, it's already out. And what's cool too is we can also do visuals. So you can do it based on client, and you can look at visuals to see, which APs it's roaming between to kind of help you better conceptualize. Like I think there's a lot of things, especially in certain environments like a stadium, where being able to see on a map where those roaming is happening helps you kind of get an idea of maybe we need to adjust transmit power on one of these APs or do something different with placement. Yeah.
Speaking of maps, do you have a map function there where we can place APs?
Yes, we do. It's on the interspace at the bottom. Now, I don't know how it translates to this. I haven't been able to test that out yet. But very much with interspace now, especially for like a stadium deployment, you want to be able to deploy your access points and put them on the map. You can do that now, and you can configure them through that interface. And anytime you're working with a stadium, you're going to want to do that because it's so hard to keep together. Okay, this is lower bowl LB-AP-47 or 49. I don't know where those are at, but if I see them on the map, I can see it, and I can say, okay, there's a lot of problems here. Maybe we need to improve the orientation of this access point to make sure there's better coverage in this area so that we're not having worse signal in this certain part of the deployment. So I think we're trying to always do more in terms of advanced features to help streamline even the more advanced users that tend to not, maybe in the past you guys wouldn't work with our product quite as much as someone that benefits from the simplicity. But now we're able to deliver those features to where people that are doing this at a very large scale can really streamline their work, save themselves a lot of effort. There's no point in if you can get the information in a more easy, accessible way. And the cool thing is here we have client histories too, that we can show you, go back and look at the timeline of how often they roamed. If you have a client-specific issue, you can go back and look and see what the roaming history was.
Where do you access that? In the interface?
This is under, it's under AirWire and then connectivity.
AirView.
AirView and connectivity, yep.
Clients, AirView.
Clients, AirView, connectivity.
And then we have another important feature that you guys are interested in, and in public Wi-Fi settings. We just talked about reason why you want to use something to create private network for your team. This is another option that we have to provide more security for a cafe or for a public Wi-Fi environment, with adding support for OWE now. So that's exciting. We can do that. We also, similar to what the roaming history and everything, we also provide now on switches. This is a really cool feature. We're similar to, like, if you look at our camera interface, you can go back through cameras, drag a timeline, and go see in a very accelerated, however quickly you drag it, you can see that footage sped up at that rate, right? In a similar way, you can do that now with switch history, where you can go back and look at a switch, drag it over the last 24 hours, and see how that topology changed. If you had a loop introduced 8 hours ago, you can go back and see what device was plugged in, who was it where was that VoIP phone plugged into, who was the knucklehead that did that and created the loop, right? And you can get that information with timeline of when it happened and everything, and see it specifically on that timeline so that you can replay those historic events. And these are the types of features that I love from being someone that came from support. That I would have killed to have this in the interface back when I was troubleshooting issues, because you always have to just take the customer for their word when they say, well, this is what happened. But now you can go back and look, instead of having to get into logging and determine it there, you can do it all through the interface within just a few seconds.
So Time Machine for switches is way different than Time Machine for NAS. Why didn't you just call it Timeline?
Great question. We'll have to talk about that.
Because Time Machine is a name of a product that you support in another product. Mm-hmm. And so you've rebranded a new feature using another trademark product name in another product family, and you use the word yourself. It's a timeline.
Yeah.
Like you literally said, that timeline is what I'm going to use.
No, I think, that's a fair criticism, fair point, that sometimes we could be more thoughtful with some of our naming mechanisms. And part of us being a very lean company, I think, with less there's not a department whose job is to standardize all this stuff for everybody. We make mistakes sometimes, but the nice thing is how rapid we are coming out with features and making fixes and improving things. So I agree with you, we could do better, but that's something we'll have to look at in the future. Another area that we've been adding functionality here too is the ability to proactively look at devices, monitor the power on those devices, and be able to see if there's an issue, to be able to automatically power cycle the switch port with PoE, in case of PoE, or even our PDU for power, for actual AC power there to that device, that you can automatically reboot that port Yeah, you can automatically reboot that port and get the device back online. You can set the threshold for where you want to actually, what's the heartbeat, how long do you want it to be offline until you reboot that port, and so on. And then this brings us back to the alarm manager, which I just want to spend, I only have a couple minutes now left, and just want to mention this because this is an area that across all of our applications, if you use UniFi, go check it out and see what the things that you can do right now. We just recently added the ability to support power state as an automatic. So what we do is we look at all these different criteria and we create custom triggers. You can decide if you want to say, okay, what degree of packet loss do I want to have for the WAN, in which case I'm going to notify the customer or create a ticket for my team to look at. And then also you can start thinking about this in ways like, okay, can I automate if it's after hours? Should I send out an email automatically, and should I automatically reboot the modem if it's outside of business hours and see if that's potentially going to resolve the issue? You can look and see if that's resolved and automate the email response saying, hey, we notified and we're able to reboot the modem and the gateway. We determined that the packet loss is no longer occurring. We're going to keep monitoring and let you know. You can have this done all without spending a single minute of manpower on that other than creating that filter and proactively looking at that. And last, back to the API, we've now got, our API has grown dramatically, and now we even have the ability to do that for a fabrics level for all your sites. And we can even do this on, globally through, over the internet instead of just with local connectivity. So now you have the option to choose whether you want to do it locally or remote. And then you can also export it into like an Ansible module for full workflows and everything to be able to simplify what you do and make it that much easier for you to adapt our product into your own custom workflow. And this is one of those things I love because at the end of the day, our product's very affordable. And with all those license fees, it's great. But if some of you want some different processes to manage it that's your own, so be it. Go ahead and do it. And what you'll find is with use of UniFi with our API, you guys get a lot more value out of the product for those that need it, right? But that's it for me. That's the message of adaptability. And at that, we'll leave it over for some questions.
So can we get one real quick before before we have to move on to the breakout?
You get one and Chris gets one.
Okay. Band 48 support on the U5G products, private cellular, CBRS. Exist or no?
I'm not sure, to be honest with you. I'd have to look at the tech specs. Go check out the tech specs, techspecs.ui.com. I think it will say on it.
I think it does.
So you guys are moving up market and starting to target enterprise, but enterprise has to standardize on hardware and pick a switch and stick with it for this year and next year. How are you managing supply chain to make sure that they can buy it this month, next month, and that it stays in stock?
Well, part of it's releasing a higher end product that's less usable. It's less price accessible for a home user. A home user doesn't need 100 gig WAN like our EFG core. Having a more capable product is going to naturally eliminate some of the demand for that and allow it to be there for those customers who really need it, but also have the money to spend on the more advanced solution. So I'd say that's one way we're doing it. We're also expanding warehousing. There's several other ways we're addressing the issue of stock. But in the memory environment right now, it's hard for everybody, but I think we're in a good position. Yeah, Craig, you want to add something?
Yeah, well, one more thing too about that. So like if there are large projects, we can do like priority allocations for some of them. We can't do it for all of it, just how we operate. But if there's a serious project, we help with that. And then with that UI care that I mentioned, that's a completely separate inventory. So it's 5 years, so that's basically guaranteeing you that you have that product for 5 years. So whether it's out of stock, wherever, we are delivering that. So even if you purchase that UI care through distributors, we fulfill that from our own allocation there to make sure that it's good to go.
All right. We're done.
Thanks, everyone. Thanks for the questions.
I know all good things have to come to an end, but that's why we have Mobility Field Day at least once a year, because there's always great companies like Ubiquiti that are participating in it. There's also great people who have been watching this stream on LinkedIn Live, on YouTube Live, and through the restream. And in no particular order, I would like to call out Mac Telecom, CyberDog17, Chris LaRock, Chris Davis 9848, Great Computer Services, Z-Bear Tech, Entrance Chew, Curiosity Laboratory, Tab Geeks, Jake Snyder, and Jeremy Rain for all of the great questions, for all of the great commentary that I've been seeing running through all of that. Yes, I was paying attention. We also saw some of our great delegates who were answering. Thanks to Mark and Chris for fielding a lot of those questions. We love the fact that we are able to interface with such a great community, and we definitely want to continue that relationship. So like I said before, Matt Garvin in the back is the guy who gets all of those emails. So make Matt busy next week. Fill out that form to be a Tech Field Day delegate. Yeah. Matt's booing from the back like he has a choice at this point. But we're going to go ahead and take the stream down. We'll be back in an hour with our last presentation of the day. But until then, make sure that you are rested up because we got another hour and a half to go. We'll see you at 3:30 Pacific.
All right, so that was it. That was cool. I will actually link to, hopefully you guys can hear me. You should be able to. I have my mic up now. Let me make myself a little bit. Okay, let me throw a link. Actually, I'll just, here, we'll do it to their actual live stream. So you guys could go watch that and then go sub to them, obviously. Like their live stream, do all that type of stuff. I think that was pretty cool. It was a good event. I'm going to also have all those, holy bright. I'm also going to have all those links, their links within my description, so that you guys could go check them out after. They do this once a year, so if they do it next year, we'll definitely be watching that. But I'll stay on here for a few minutes if you guys have some questions or, talk about what we saw. We're doing live chat, so that's good. Hopefully you guys like that. It would be nice to be able to do some more live streams specifically. I don't know if it's going to be possible. I tried to do it before where, like to try to get a Ubiquiti employee on stream. I don't know if it would be possible, but I think it would be great so that they could answer questions and stuff like that. I don't know. Let me know what you guys think. What were you guys most excited for to seeing out of that whole thing? I think the industrial switches, they look cool. That Batman AP, that's obviously pretty wicked as well. All I care about is the UPS Enterprise. Someone talk about it, please. Well, that is already over, so I don't know. Yeah. Tom, thanks once again for letting me restream that this year. So that was really great. That is the third one we've actually streamed, so that's cool. I don't even know if that's a thing. Like, did they must have shown that in some marketing image before, so I have no idea. Wish they published more info on the integrating the EV. Well, you know what's crazy? The actual switches, that's what I was posting it on my Twitter. The AV switches are out now. What the heck? I wish they would actually have like an AV. Oh, they do right here. Oh no, these are just feature sets. The two new switches are out. The Enterprise AV and the Fiber AV. The bridge still isn't available though, so let's look that up. Bridge, AV bridge. AV bridge. Yeah, there we go. Enterprise bridge. So that's showing that it's in. Are we in May? Yeah. Yeah. So that should be coming out soon. Now I could say it. I do not have the AV switches. They're out. I hope I do get some. I mean, I don't know what I'll do with them in my house right now, but hopefully, like for a project that we have, I'll be able to do something with that. Let's see. Industrial switch for sure, but I want some Protect Access Plus sensors. Yeah, I think that would be nice to have some integration between there for sure. The industrial switch looked really cool. I mean, it looked really cool. I'm sure there's some people on Twitter or X or whatever who posted some pictures. I didn't really get pictures. I only grabbed kind of what was in my Discord, which were, let's look at it here. Let me take a screenshot of it. Oh, I hate this. 1 second. Something going on with my mouse. I need to get a new one. Oh, what? Hold on a second, people. Hold on a minute. There we go. All right, this is the Batman AP, which, I mean, it looks cool. It looks really cool. It's going to be interesting to see, like, the tech specs on it and what it could actually handle. Hopefully it handles outdoor really well. We'll see. Cody, I could see the AV switches behind you. I wish. I don't have anything of those. Nothing here except the enterprise switches. Nice. Or, yeah, the industrial switches. The industrial switches were cool. The, what did they show up? The was it the ES... Did they call it the ECS core? I think it was the ECS core. Just don't mess with the flaps, yeah. You posted a screenshot to Twitter. Yeah, I'll take a look at that. I don't bring up Twitter on my computer because it's weird sometimes what things show on there. Oh, people will definitely mess with these. I mean, it's going to be messed with insane, right? But it is really cool. It's a nice looking device. So I'm excited to see how the future of Ubiquiti. One other nice thing I would like to see, it would be great if we, and it's probably never going to happen. It would be amazing if we could live stream from a Ubiquiti World Conference. I think that would be really, really cool, but I would assume that Ubiquiti would do that on their channel if they ever did it. Like something like how Apple does theirs. We could go more insight on the industrial switches at UWC. They're pretty cool. Yeah, we don't have any UWCs planned for North America right now, so I imagine live streaming the event. That would be crazy. I would love to have Robert Pear on my stream too. I've tried before. I mentioned it before. That's probably never going to happen, but I think it would be amazing. It would bring in a lot of viewers. It would bring in questions. It would be like a more down to earth thing. But he's a very busy guy, and yeah, I don't know if he'd want to do that type of live stream. But yeah, live stream, like I don't know how you would do it. But we'd have to get permission, obviously. But yeah, these new switches, those are cool. So go buy them if you're looking for them, because they'll probably sell out. Most new Ubiquiti stuff does sell out. I will have some sort of video this week. I'm not 100% sure yet what I'm doing. I need to do a video on the high availability still. I need to do a video on the USL relay. But I have a garage door that I need a specific... I did buy one. What is this called? It has some security module on it, so I need to buy a third-party device. I finally got the third-party device, but I haven't set it up. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to have the relay. I'm just going to have it open my garage. That's all. I'm not going to do anything else special with it. You could do a bunch of different things. I may try out this, because I do have a siren and I do have some sensors, right? So we'll probably do something like this with the sensors and third-party alarm and stuff like that. And that's pretty much my relay video. At the end of the day, what I'm going to be doing with my garage doors, I'm going to take the relay out and I'm going to integrate it with UniFi access. Yeah, I just want UniFi access on my garage doors. So we'll see. Let's see. EFG core, ECS core, ECS series switch, industrial, Batman. Okay, perfect. That's awesome. New in-wall Ubiquiti speakers. I would love for them to release some kind of AV receiver so that I could centralize. Yeah, that would actually be interesting. Well, wouldn't that be... So I'm not an audio video person. I said that a bunch of times. But couldn't you use the AV bridge to do that? Like, would you not be able to use that, put that in your network rack with your Apple TVs? I would assume so. I mean, it might be an expensive solution, but you could probably do that. Money is too busy. Let's see. I really should have asked for some in-wall. I didn't even think about that, the in-wall. I'm gonna buy another power amp, because I only have 2, and those power amps I want to use for my basement. I'm gonna buy another power amp, and I'm gonna put 2 in-wall speakers in this office. I think so. I did get the Ratgo, or whatever you call it, Rage Against the Garage Door Opener. I bought 2 of those as well. So I bought this. It's called Connected. This is what I'm going to be using, because you don't need to really do any programming with it, apparently. But I did buy 2 of the Rage Against the Garage Door Openers. So I'll do a video on it. I'll mention how I get it to work, my garage doors, because I'm sure other people have these problems as well. My company specializes in live stream anywhere. We could support you with it. Yeah, that would be cool. I need to be like, I guess I'd be like, you know, the streamer speed and have a full crew going about Ubiquiti gear and stuff like that. Horn will be useful when people touch the flaps. This is true. I do have a horn as well, which I haven't done anything with. We just need all SuperLink devices released and the Noon Light Central. Yes, the biggest thing for me is the Noon Light, like the actual monitoring for it. We have a bunch of companies that want to push over to SuperLink. Like we're doing I'll have it in an upcoming video. I've talked about it. We're doing the Pew Pew shop. And if you know what that means. I can't say the word on YouTube because it's a little weird, but they wanted to cut over from their alarm system to SuperLink, but there's no monitoring yet, so we couldn't do it. Monty's also going to be doing a video on the relay, so Inside Wire, he'll be doing a video. His will probably be more in-depth than mine, so I would go and watch that for sure. Those AV bridges also do one-to-many transmission. No, you just need to be like Monty the robot with all the cam. Yes. I only have I need to change out all my cameras. So tomorrow, what we're probably doing, my brother's supposed to be coming over. We'll see if this even happens tomorrow, because depending on the rain. Most of you guys know, obviously I have cats. You probably saw me playing with Mocha in the back. She was like meowing a crazy amount. But we bought a new catio for them. So we're going to rip down the old catio. I do have a video on the catio if you guys want to watch it. It's like integrating cameras and stuff like that. We're going to do the same thing. We're going to build the new catio. It's going to be bigger. It's going to be level, because we're going to get some, I don't even know what they call it, 2x2 stones. I forgot what they're called. And then we're going to put a bunch of UniFi cameras in there. So we're probably going to put a couple AI 360s and a couple other things. We'll obviously have a switch. We're probably, I don't know if I'll put an AP on it. I might put an AP. I'm not sure. On the outside. I wonder what their limit AV bridges would be. I'm not sure. Work in progress. Video coming soon on the relay. Yes, Ray-Ban Meta. I need to get some more cameras. Like, oh, that's what I forgot to grab out of Jay's truck. Crap. I have like what I use when I'm doing on-site jobs. I use a GoPro to film my jobs. The camera that I'm using right now is the Canon EOS 90D. I bought a new camera, which I don't even know what it is, but it's another Canon that does 4K 60 frames, but I haven't set it up. I've had it for about 2 months now. I know, I'm surprised he's still awake. It's like, what? What time is it there? You gotta be like close to, what, 11 or 12? We'll have to use a power supply with the relay. To be honest, I haven't even plugged in the relay yet, so I'm not too sure. Monty is a vampire. It's like midnight. Yes, it is late. Well, it's not super late here, but I'll stay on for a couple of minutes. I gotta go feed the cats. That's probably why Mocha is screaming at me, but all in all, I'm happy with what we saw today. We got to see some new devices. We got to hear from Andrew, Craig, and Tom, which is always very super insightful. Let me plug Tech Field Day again. This is their website. You'd have to go over their website to sign up to be a delegate. Let me just bring up their YouTube channel again so that you guys could get that link. All the links will be posted below for them, so go find that out. Or go look at that. 1 sec here. There we go. Okay, here's their YouTube channel. If you want to go take a look at that. It's quarter to 11 in there. Oh, it's almost 1. Yeah, it's not even 6 o'clock here. I had to figure out what I'm having for dinner. Yeah, Tom, I mean, they're all good at presenting stuff. They are all really good at presenting. I wouldn't be able to get up in front of people and do a presentation ever. When you see them at Ubiquiti, the World Conferences, I don't even know how many people there are. There's a ton of people. I'd be so nervous. I could never do that. I trip over all my words in my own videos, and I'm sitting here in a room by myself. Like, I'd never be able to do something live like that. The things I do for you guys. Yeah, that's funny. What else is new? We'll talk about a couple more things. I probably will do a live stream Sunday. And it'll probably be a repeat pretty much of what's happening. I really like this, that they added this freshly stocked. I think that's a really great idea. So Travel Router is in stock. Go get that. The EFG, or sorry, not EFGs. The new audio switches are now in stock. You could get a new AI, or the new AI key. Not new, but it just came out a little while ago, like a year ago, and hasn't really been in stock. They have another hour and a half live stream starting. Yeah, so they're going to be doing a, I'm not sure who they're actually doing next. Scott, yeah, thank you very much. I'm not sure who they're up next, but if it's going to be another vendor, it's not Ubiquiti who's going to be doing it. I know they do a ton of different vendors, right? Like they'll work with Cisco, Motorola probably. I've seen some of them, but they'll post all their videos on the channel, and it's very informative for sure. Especially if you're interested in, like, the Wi-Fi space and all that, networking space. I do have an ENVR core, so this is going to be getting installed at a place, so that's going to be cool. I'm not sure if this grill's available, though. Like, these grills, I would love to buy one of those grills, but we probably don't need it. Okay, so Fortinet is next. If you guys are interested in Fortinet, go check out their YouTube channel. Tomorrow is Arista and Nile. Okay, cool. Yeah, that'll be interesting. TP-Link, I don't know if they would be there. I'm not sure. Maybe they do TP-Link. I have no clue. But I am going to get out of here. I need to feed the cats. We've been going for like 2 hours, something like 2 hours, close to 2 hours. I'll be live again Sunday. We will talk about some more stuff. Thank you guys for joining. Thank you, Tech Field Day, for allowing me to co-stream it again. And we'll talk. I mean, if you want to talk more, we do have a Discord, so go in there. Cyberdog will bully you, I'm sure of it. But everybody have a good rest of your evening. Take care. See ya.